For those of you that are new to Photoshop, just a couple things about opening and saving documents, Photoshop documents and images that you need to know before you go too far into these tutorials and different projects that you're working on. First, a couple things about opening. You can go File, Open, but also realize there's shortcuts for so many things in Photoshop. So Control O, not Control 0, will open as well. Let's say I'm going to work on this image. I'm going to open it up. One thing that you should get in the habit of doing, besides creating new layers, or excuse me, duplicate layers by pressing Control J or dragging your image down to this button here, is to work with duplicates instead of working with the originals. It'll save you trouble in the end. And so I forget to do this sometimes, but it would be wise for all of us, myself included, to go up to Image and choose Duplicate. And you can rename it whatever you want. I'm just going to take Photoshop's suggestion and use the word copy after the image's name. Alright, now you notice up here in my tabs, there's the original, Madison's dog, and here's the copy. So I will close the original by pressing the X. And I'm not going to save any changes I made to the original. I want to keep the original as it was. And so whatever I'm going to do now, if I mess up and I save it and I want to go back and start over or whatever, I can reopen the original, make another copy, and start over. So this way you will always have the original. You won't have to worry about changes that you can't undo later, and it's just wise practice. Alright, so let's say I've made some changes to a picture. I have a project. Let me open up one. And let's say I'm pretending to make a poster for a balloon festival, and I'm ready to save this. Now, I would make a couple recommendations about saving. First, you probably want to save this as a photo, all your projects as a Photoshop document, and excuse me, save it as a JPEG as well, so that you have the original Photoshop, so that if you need to fix something, maybe there's a spelling mistake or there's a different look that you wanted to try, or maybe you're working on a project for someone else and they didn't quite like what you did and they want you to make some changes, you can always go back to your Photoshop and make those changes quickly. So I would first go up to File, always choose Save As, and pay attention to where it says Format. It automatically or by default will say Photoshop PSD, and I would just save a copy of it as a Photoshop. I've done that already. And then if you think you have a finished product, then I will go File, Save As, and then you click on this triangle here, or diamond, and there's many different formats you can save it as. Most of the time we're going to save it to JPEG, JPEG right here. Other times you might be asked to save it as a PNG, which saves transparency, and very rarely for our class, but it's possible you might save it as a TIFF. So for now, until you're told otherwise, I would have you save it as a JPEG as well, so that you have a Photoshop and also a JPEG copy of your work. You'll bring the JPEGs into your PowerPoints or whatever other software you're using. Could be Microsoft Word. Most of the time you use those formats, the JPEG format for those projects. Alright, so that's some recommendations. Remember, open your photos, image duplicates, you're always working on a copy, and then when you're saving, remember to save as a Photoshop, but also to save as a JPEG when you think you're done. Alright.